Hi, so I'll probably start off by talking about how McMurray came to start using Visible Body. This was all kind of part of this Title V grant that we received, which is for Hispanic serving institutions, and it's to kind of help retention, help kind of amp up STEM courses, help renovate labs. We're also renovating our greenhouse, and so as part of this, we were looking at 3D cadaver software that we could use, and we started looking, at the cadaver tables, and it kind of boiled down to Visible Body and the 3D4 Complete Anatomy. And so I kind of went in and the fall semester kind of delved into both of these programs, and Visible Body was by and far a much better option for us. And so, I'll probably talk about that and talk about the transition to online learning in the spring and how, it's pretty seamless for us. Really, the only thing that we had to change was the fact that we had to take our practicals and our exams online. But the students had already been taking module quizzes and post-lab quizzes through Visible Body Online, and so they already knew how to test through Visible Body, so it really wasn't much of a change. When I did, AMP1 online in summer 1, that was fully online, and it was asynchronous. So I didn't have, synchronous lectures and teams like I did for AMP1 after we went online in the spring. And so it was a little difficult, and I think this is the hardest part for all of us having to do online learning, is that when you send an email or you send a reminder or you post something in your LMS, it just kind of goes out into the void and you don't know if your students received it, and you don't know if the students are really getting it, and you're just not able to see their little faces and see if they're understanding the content and seeing if stuff is clicking. And so what I did to kind of work around that in my summer AMP1 that was fully online, I did a lot of self-assessments. I did a lot of quick checks. I did a lot of module quizzes. So for the modules, at the end of each module that they would work through, and I can kind of show a module and show a quiz. Like with this, yeah, you can get that on your arm. Sorry, I got my toddler in my lap. They would work through a module, and then they would have a quiz over it just to check to make sure that they understood the concepts that I really wanted them to understand. And then I would also have outlines for them to fill out that contained the information that I really wanted them. River's on the couch. Oh, look, he's on the floor right there. Go get him. And so, sorry, I'm going to pause it. Sorry. And so I'll probably, pull up one of my outlines, pull up a quiz, just so they can kind of see how I checked for understanding as my summer kids were going through. And then I will probably talk a little bit about, in the spring, how I ran my labs. In the summer, it was still pretty similar. I used this Screencast-O-Matic to record basically what I would have done and said in the lab. The only difference is that I wasn't projecting it on a screen, and the students didn't have their laptops to follow along. But with the recording, they could do a split screen and have my recording in YouTube, on one side of the screen, and then have Visible Body pulled up on the other side of the screen and kind of work through. And so for my labs, I send out a word bank, as well as I utilize a lot of the visible body lab printouts. And so the word banks really contain what I want the students to really know and understand. And I can post a link, or I can maybe show what the word banks look like, and then I can also pull up a lab PDF. They're the ones from Visible Body. I've just modified them a little bit, cut out some content, and kind of tailored them so that they fit with my word banks. And so then I'll just take them through them. Actually, I was gonna do the skull, but I think I'm actually gonna do the muscular system. I'm gonna do the muscles of facial expression. So that I can show, with the platysma, I know that there's a muscle action that I can pull up and show that, because I think that's really neat to see. So I'll probably, start off, and then I'll just work through my word bank just like I would in lab. Start with the orbicularis oculi, kind of talk about that. I'll probably at the beginning go through and talk about the fascicle arrangements. Talk about, how this is a circular muscle. You can see that the fascicles are arranged in a nice circle around the eye. The same thing with the orbicularis oris, the one that's around the mouth. It's for kissing, whistling. I like to call it the duck face muscle, because it helps you to make that infamous duck face selfie that women used to do. And then I'll just go through and look at all this. I'll click and kind of talk as if I was leading the lab. With the platysma, I'll click on it. I'll say that if you tense your neck up, you can feel this, especially if you get really angry, or if you do a fun Valsalva maneuver when you're bearing down. This muscle kind of tenses up. And then, I'll show the muscle action, kind of show that they can show this in the lab, because I think that's really neat to be able to show students, okay, here is the muscle in action. Here is the muscle actually working. This is what it looks like, and you can move it all around. I like to tell students my mom used to do, I would call it the fish move, because she would lay and she would tense up her platysma, and she would do like a little fishy face. I don't know why I'm doing it, like you can see me doing it, but it was to work that muscle right there, so that she wouldn't have jowls, and she's probably the most fit grandmother I've ever met. So just some little things like that. And I can even go and go into some more muscles. I don't really know. I mean, I would think that these would be enough, or I could even do, excuse me, like muscles of the trunk and the abdomen, because I know there's more muscle actions there. So, whatever y'all think would be best. But I really think the muscles would be a good way to highlight a lot of the different features, like the muscle actions. It's just really neat. And then being able to see all the origins and insertions, that's a pretty neat feature. Sorry, I had to pause and come back. And we don't really look at the blood supply and innervation, but I can show that too. So I guess that's about it. If there's anything else that y'all want me to highlight, or want me to go over, want me to look at, I can take them through a module on the muscles. I might do that at the beginning, just to show them what a module looks like. So we do the module on the muscular system, and I can just take them through this. Sorry, kind of thinking while I'm talking here. This might actually be a great way to do it. I can go through the module on the muscular system, show them what that looks like, show them the unit outline, the muscular system quiz, and then pop over to the skeletal muscle lab and the muscle identification. That way I can highlight it all, kind of show everything, show the anatomy ID. I know, it's a bear. because that's a pretty neat feature to show how they can search for these structures, especially something like the corrugator supercilii. You know, that's a pretty deep muscle that's hidden. You know, it's kind of hard to, you know, to find that little bitty muscle, and so I can, you know, kind of show the anatomy search. But yeah, so if that sounds good, just let me know. I'll definitely tweak it quite a bit more, and I will be kidless on the 14th, so won't have to worry about interruptions. Unlike when I actually did this for AMP1 in the spring, when my kids made lots of cameos on my lectures. All right, well, thank y'all for this opportunity, and I will be speaking with y'all soon. Bye.